The loud crack of the slap echoed across Terminal 4 of Los Angeles International Airport. For a moment, the entire check-in line froze. People stopped pulling their luggage. Children looked up from their phones. Even the airline employee behind the counter stared in disbelief. My left cheek burned. I slowly turned my head back toward my older sister, Ashley. Her face was red with anger. "You selfish liar," she shouted. "You almost ruined our vacation. Every eye in the terminal was on us. I didn't say a word. My parents rushed over immediately. What did you do this time?" My mother snapped without asking a single question. My father shook his head in disappointment. "I knew you would find a way to create drama." I stared at them. Not. One of them asked whether I was okay. Not one of them wondered why Ashley had just slapped me in front of hundreds of strangers. They simply assumed I was guilty because that's how it had always been. Ashley had always been the favorite. Growing up, she got the bigger bedroom, she got the newer car. When she made mistakes, they became learning experiences. When I made tiny mistakes, they became lectures that lasted for hours. If Ashley forgot my birthday, she's just busy. If I forgot hers, I can't believe how selfish you've become. I learned years ago that fairness didn't exist in our family. 3 months earlier, everything had seemed different. Dad had announced during Sunday dinner, "This year we're finally taking our dream vacation to Hawaii." Mom clapped excitedly. Ashley immediately began talking about luxury resorts, snorkeling trips, helicopter rides, and designer shopping. The only problem? My parents had quietly admitted they couldn't really afford it. Dad's business had struggled. Mom had medical bills. Ashley had thousands in credit card debt. The trip was impossible, or so they thought. I had spent 6 years building my own software consulting company, while everyone assumed I worked some boring computer job my business had quietly become very successful. I never bragged. I drove a normal car, lived in a modest condo. Most of my money stayed invested. When Dad apologized for canceling the family vacation, I smiled. "I'll handle it." "What do you mean?" Mom asked. "I'll pay." The table became silent. "You would really do that?" Dad asked. I nodded. "For the whole family. Flights, beachfront hotel, airport transfers, island tours, everything." Ashley hugged me for the first time in years. "You're amazing." For a brief moment, I believed maybe things were finally changing. Over the next few weeks, I spent nearly $18,000 arranging the perfect vacation. Business class. Upgrades for my parents, got ocean view rooms, private sunset cruise. Dinner. Reservations months in advance. Every detail was carefully planned. My parents thanked me constantly. Ashley posted online, "Blessed to have such an incredible family." I smiled every time I saw it. Maybe this trip would heal old wounds. Maybe we could finally become the family I'd always wanted. Couldn't have been more wrong. The problem started 2 weeks before departure. Ashley called me. "I need another favor." "What is it?" "I invited my boyfriend." I blinked. "What?" "And his little sister." I laughed nervously. "You mean they're paying for themselves?" Silence. Then she answered, "I assumed you'd cover them." I almost dropped my phone. "Ashley, that's another $6,000. So, no." Her tone changed instantly. "I knew money would change you." "No," I replied calmly. "Boundaries changed me." She hung up. For days she ignored every message. Family dinner, she acted like nothing had happened. But I noticed something else whenever I entered the room. The conversation stopped. Whispers followed. Strange looks. Something wasn't right. The night before our flight, Mom called. "You need to apologize to Ashley." I frowned. "For what?" "For embarrassing her?" "What?" "She told us you bragged about paying for the trip and made her boyfriend feel poor." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "That's not true," Mom sighed. "Don't know why you always compete with your sister." I slowly lowered the phone. Ashley had lied. Again, and My parents believed every word. Again, the next morning at the airport. I arrived early. Everyone else showed up 40 minutes later. Ashley walked toward me wearing expensive designer sunglasses. Without even saying hello, she looked at me and said, "So, did you finally learn to stop acting like everyone's hero?" Before I could answer, she slapped me, hard. "You deserved that." My parents didn't ask why, they simply blamed me. Standing there, surrounded by strangers, quietly opened the airline app on my phone. I looked at the 4 tickets. Mine, Mom's, Dad's, Ashley's. Then, without saying a single word, I pressed cancel on the 3 tickets that I had personally purchased. A confirmation message appeared. Refund. Processing. I locked my phone, picked up my passport, smiled politely, and walked toward airport security, alone. As I walked toward the TSA security checkpoint, I heard my father yell from behind me, "Daniel, where are you going?" I didn't turn around. I simply held up my boarding pass and kept walking. A minute later, my phone buzzed. Dad calling. I declined it. Then, another call. Mom calling. Declined. Then, Ashley. I ignored that one too. I had spent years trying to earn love from people who only noticed me when they needed something. For the first time in my life, I chose peace over approval. I had almost reached the security line when I heard frantic shouting. "Wait! Something's wrong!" It was Ashley. Curious travelers turned to watch. She was waving her phone wildly at the airline counter. Our boarding passes disappeared. The airline employee calmly typed on her keyboard. After a few seconds, she frowned. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "What do you mean you're sorry?" "These tickets have been canceled." Ashley's face turned pale. "What?" "The reservation no longer exists." Dad stepped forward. "There has to be some mistake." The employee shook her head. "No, sir. The tickets were canceled by the purchaser about 3 minutes ago." Silence. Then everyone slowly turned toward me. I was already standing in the TSA line. Ashley screamed across the terminal, "Daniel!" Hundreds of people looked in our direction. I slowly walked back. "What happened?" I asked calmly. "You canceled our tickets." "I did. You can't do that." "I just did." Mom stared at me in disbelief. "Why would you do something so cruel?" I looked directly into her eyes. "Cruel?" She nodded. I gently touched my still burning cheek. Was this cruel? Nobody answered. Ashley folded her arms. "You embarrassed me," I laughed softly. "No, you slapped me in front of hundreds of strangers. You accused me of lying. You told Mom and Dad I was showing off. You expected me to pay for your boyfriend. And then you humiliated me." She rolled her eyes. "It was just one slap." I smiled sadly. "No, it was 28 years of slaps." The airline employee quietly watched the entire conversation. So did dozens of passengers. Some had already started recording on their phones. Dad lowered his voice. Son, let's just fix this. I'll apologize." I looked at him. "When was the last time you defended me?" He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I turned to Mom. "When Ashley broke my laptop in college, who paid to replace it?" She looked down. "You did." "When Ashley borrowed $15,000 from me and never paid it back, who told me to let it go because she's family?" Mom remained silent. "When Ashley spread lies about me to everyone last Christmas, who asked me to apologize?" Again, silence. For the first time, strangers weren't judging me. They were judging the people who had judged me my entire life. An elderly woman standing nearby quietly shook her head. Another passenger whispered, "I can't believe they treated him like that." The embarrassment on Ashley's face grew deeper. She hated looking like the villain. Dad stepped closer. "We made mistakes, but don't ruin this vacation." I reached into my backpack, pulled out an envelope. Inside were printed receipts. Every payment, flights, hotel, tours, restaurant, reservations, rental car, travel insurance, almost. 18,000. I handed the stack to him. I paid for every single dollar. Dad's hands trembled. He had never realized how much I had spent. Ashley looked shocked. "I thought Mom and Dad paid for most of it." I laughed. "They let you believe that?" Mom began crying. Dad whispered, "I didn't know." "I never asked." I nodded. "Exactly. You never asked. You only assumed." Just like today, Ashley suddenly grabbed my arm. "Fine. I'm sorry." The apology sounded empty. She wasn't sorry for slapping me. She was sorry the vacation was slipping away. I gently pulled my arm free. Too late. The airline employee interrupted. "Sir, if the purchaser wishes, he may rebook additional tickets." Everyone looked at me. Mom's eyes filled with hope. Dad looked desperate. Ashley forced a smile. I took a deep breath. Then I asked one simple question. "If I rebook these tickets, will anything change after this trip?" No one answered because they all knew the truth. The silence gave me my answer. I smiled politely. "Hope you all have a wonderful day." Then I turned around, walked through airport security, and boarded my flight to Hawaii. Alone. As my plane lifted into the sky, I looked out the window at the shrinking city below. For the first time in years, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The warm Hawaiian breeze greeted me as I stepped out of the airport in Honolulu. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about pleasing anyone else. I checked into the beachfront resort, walked onto my balcony, and watched the waves crash against the shore. The silence felt peaceful. No arguments, no accusations, no walking on eggshells. Just me. Back in Los Angeles. However, things were falling apart. My father had spent hours trying to book last-minute tickets. The prices had tripled. The resort reservation couldn't be transferred because everything had been booked under my name. The private tours were non-refundable. The sunset cruise had already been paid. For everything was gone. Ashley blamed my parents. Parents blamed Ashley. For the first time, there was no one left to blame but themselves. 2 days later, I was hiking Diamond Head when my phone vibrated. It was Dad. I almost ignored it. But something told me to answer. "Hello?" There was a long silence before he spoke. "I owe you an apology." I didn't respond. "I've been thinking about everything. You were right. We never listened. We always believed Ashley. I failed you as a father." His voice cracked. It was the first genuine apology I had ever heard from him. That evening, Mom called. She was crying. I found something while cleaning the attic. What? A box. Inside were my childhood report cards, art awards, science fair medals, letters from teachers praising my kindness and hard work. Most of them had never even been opened. Instead, they had been tossed into storage while Ashley's trophies filled the living room. Mom sobbed. I don't know how I let this happen. I closed my eyes. Some wounds take years to see. A week later, I returned home. Dad asked if we could meet at a small coffee shop. When I arrived, he looked older than I remembered. He stood up as I walked, and instead of offering a handshake, he hugged me tightly. "I'm sorry, no excuses, no blaming anyone else." Just 2 words I had waited 28 years to hear. Then he placed a small envelope on the table. Inside was a cashier's check, $18,000. "I sold my classic motorcycle," he said. "It wasn't enough to repay everything you've given us over the years, but it's a start." I stared at the check. "It isn't about the money, I know. It's about respect." I nodded. For the first time, he understood. Ashley refused to apologize. Instead, she posted on social media that I had abandoned my family. She expected sympathy. Instead, people who had witnessed the airport incident began commenting. One traveler uploaded a short video of the slap. Another posted how they had seen me quietly walk away without yelling or insulting anyone. The truth spread quickly. Ashley deleted the post within hours. Several weeks passed. Then, something unexpected happened. Ashley showed up at my apartment. She looked nothing like the confident woman from the airport. No designer clothes, no expensive handbag, just tired eyes. "I lost my job," she admitted. Her boss had seen the viral video and questioned her behavior toward coworkers. She had also lost several friends who were shocked by what they saw. She sat quietly before speaking. Again, I spent my whole life believing I deserved everything. I never realized how much I hurt. You! Tears rolled down her face. This time, I'm not apologizing because I want something. I'm apologizing because I finally understand. I studied her face. For the first time, her pride was gone. Only regret remained. I didn't forgive her immediately. Some scars need time to heal. Instead, I simply said, if you truly want to change, then prove it. Not today, not tomorrow, every day. She nodded. I will. Over the next year, she did exactly that. She found a new job, started paying back the money she owed me, little by little. She volunteered at a local charity every weekend. Most importantly, she stopped expecting everyone else to fix her mistakes. Slowly, she became someone I could respect. Our family changed, too. Holiday dinners became different. Everyone listened instead of shouting. Dad made sure every opinion mattered. Mom stopped comparing us. For the first time in our lives, we became a real family. Not because we were perfect, but because we finally chose honesty over favoritism. 1 year after the airport incident, Dad surprised us with a family dinner. At the end of the meal, he stood up and raised his glass. I want to thank the person who taught me the hardest lesson of my life. He looked at me. Sometimes losing a vacation is the only way to save a family. The room fell, silent. Ashley stood up, walked over, and hugged me. This time there was no audience, no cameras, no applause, just a brother and a sister beginning again.